So this is the first year where I felt like we could open an irrigation shop there and do well straight away.
I said to Riley, it's not growing out of control because it's regulated. All you need to do is follow the lines. You'll be right.
Is there an argument then that it would be better for the AFL that the umpiring was a robot or an AI?
Live at that point in my life, a quicker cricket ball being bowled down, and I was like, who is this guy, Ryan Harris? And I fell in love with him ever since.
He's just polishing his bowls.
You a punhead fucker?
100,000 orders.
Cool.
Yeah, what episode is it? 60?
61?
61.
How come I'm across it and you're not? Where's my sunglasses? They feel like they're on my head. That's a horrible, weird
They're
feeling.
not in there, though.
Yeah. Should I wear a hat? I'm really happy with my hair today. It seems like a shame to cover it up. No. No, it's too hot. Jumpsuits are for winter. I need to get a sleeveless one, you know, like my photo of me as an Aussie.
At first I didn't quite understand what it was, and then I read it and I was like, oh yeah.
It's Clinty Powers.
Yeah, the one that ruins all the fun for everyone.
It's Clinty Powers. Or Larry McFakington. Or no, Tom Foolery. Yeah, I didn't get a message about Larry McFakington from Mudge. Larry McFakington was my alter ego Facebook page that I made when I was like, Facebook's a joke. I'm just going to make a page.
Oh, yeah.
And if you look it up, it still exists. I don't know the password, so I can't get into it, but it's just me and I'm a squirrel with really big balls. So,
Like your face on squirrel?
no, literally just found a photo of a squirrel. This is probably before editing. Larry McFakington. And I would go onto Facebook and just post shit like this is I'm just written it, it's all Lawnhub. Like just had sushi for dinner. Hopefully everyone can sleep better at night now knowing useless information about my life. Because that's what I thought Facebook was. And
It was for a little bit. And Farmville.
Fast forward 10 or 11 years and we are now one of their larger customers in Australia.
You ever play Farmville?
He won the whole thing.
Didn't know it was a thing to win, but okay.
Fucked all the goats.
Nice.
Oh, we've started the podcast. All right. Welcome everyone. Sorry you had to endure the that long introduction.
The tomfoolery.
The tomfoolery and the goat fornication. This is episode number 61 of The Full Landscape, pre-recorded here at our direct studios.
Lawnhub Live after lunch.
What did I say?
Pre-recorded.
What did I say?
Full Landscape.
Sorry. I'm kind of a big deal. I run a few different podcasts. Yeah. So I run The Full Landscape. Well, that was the last podcast I did. Do an episode every 6 to 12 months. It's kind of like a small batch custom release kind of thing. So
high profile.
Yeah, when you deliver such good quality, you don't want to dilute it with lots of episodes, whereas this podcast is an atrocious piece of shit. So we can do...
Loved by many.
Loved by 236 adoring fans. So today's pre-recorded because Jonesy is going back to Turkey. Obviously, that
didn't work last time.
Didn't work.
No. They put it on my back for some reason.
Well, I think the issue is you took the hair from someone else's gooch. I think you have to take it from your gooch because there's a... what would you call it? Like there's a high rate of rejection, which you're probably used to.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You asked one person and they said yes, and then you're like,
I'm done. I'm finished now.
So today I want to talk to Jonesy about a few things. Obviously, his beloved cows
up the Crowies
are doing okay. I have been told that it might be connected to the fact that they're playing the lowest quality teams in the AFL. Number 2, South Australia now hold the Sheffield Shield for the first time in 29 years. I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about the front lawn. I've got some issues with it looks like the apprentice barber has tried to put a mohawk in a few spots. So I want to find out a bit more about that.
That's a very good description of it too.
So we'll get into it.
Yes.
We have been it's interesting that the best performing clips that we have on this podcast have nothing to do with lawn.
No.
And maybe we should start a football podcast.
Amongst the many others that are out there. But that's okay. Ours is different. We got jumpsuit and we got a nice logo.
Yeah.
We don't have a water sponsor though.
No,
so.
I'm pumping 2 waters at the moment. I've got Mount Franklin Peach, lightly sparkling. Not as good as I'd hoped it would be, but it does have a hint of natural peach flavour, and that's what it tastes like. Mango Chainsaw from Liquid Death is a little bit more pronounced, but it probably it's pretty clean. Yeah, not much to it really. ASMR, is that what you wanted?
Yeah, that's what we're doing
that
before.
tastes so much better. That must have sugar in it or something. So
I thought they were sugar free, weren't they?
Sugar free since 2023. But you can put sweeteners in them.
Yeah.
Salt, sale, salz, carbonated mango, carbonated water sweetener, agave nectar. That's interesting. It's a mango flavored soft drink, and they use agave nectar on natural flavoring, preservative citric acid. Whereas these bad boys or bad girls or bad non-binaries are nothing. Carbonated water for flavor. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't taste as good.
No.
So, what do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about the Saka? That seems to be the most important thing that's happened in sport.
29 years, the drought's over. That was very, very exciting. Great game of cricket as well.
I didn't catch any of it.
It just goes to show that games aren't won in the first session, because even though Queensland were on the ropes early, and they were all out for a pretty low score, to be fair, they had a massive fight back in the third innings.
Do you think it's safe to say that's why they call it a test match?
That's exactly right. That's why it's called test match. But so obviously the Shield, normally throughout the season, is a 4-day game, and then for the final it's a 5-day game. So
That doesn't make any sense.
that's just how this fixture is.
Yeah,
so
but it doesn't
test
make any
cricket's 5 days.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So why not play
And then
either
Shield
5
cricket's 4
all the
days.
time? But then the final goes out to a 5-day test.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Like,
Not sure why. I'm sure there's a reason why.
that's kind of like I guess doing all your driving lessons and then getting your license, and then all of a sudden the fucking road rules change. Like, how the fuck does that make any sense?
I think it's to try and push a result.
Because 4-day tests rarely.
Well, I mean, the Shield game, the Shield season structured a little bit. It's structured a little bit different to Test cricket, so the point system's a little different. They spoke about it actually in the commentary a little bit in between, innings and during the change of bowling ends and all that sort of stuff. They spoke about how it's a quite different fixture format. So, and how you want to make the most of bonus points, because they were talking about if one of the teams had actually pushed for a bonus point rather than play out the draw in another game, it could have been a different final. But so I think it's trying to push a result more so than playing for the draw.
Makes sense. If they had drawn that game, what would have happened?
I'd have to be fact checked on this, but I think South Australia would win because they finished above Queensland.
Crazy would that be?
Which I believe is what happened in the last Shield final that they won 29 years ago.
It's not the best way to get it, is it? Like when you retain the Ashes.
No, it would have been a bit. And again, I'm not fully across the format, but
I thought you played cricket for Australia.
no. Like Australia, South Australia won first innings by a decent margin. But yeah, Jake Lehman really and Kez there for a little bit in South Australia's first innings, but the game's second innings. Yeah, Kez and
what happened to Jake Lehman?
Well, he made 100 in the final.
Well, like he was playing Big Bash. His breakout season was fucking nuts.
Yeah,
and then I didn't hear his name again.
I just think mainly all young people.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, we're having a Michael Clark. He came onto the scene and then had to go back and work on his game, and he came back.
So Jake Lehman is still of an age where he could come back and play for Australia?
Well, I mean, if he keeps making runs, he made 300s in the last 3 games. So if he continues that form, it would be very difficult.
The cricket season's finished.
No, but I mean, the form going into next season would be very difficult to sort of not have your name there for selection.
Would he play IPL?
No, he chose not to play IPL, which is why he played in the Shield final, because the IPL's on right now.
So Carey was there as well, which is a big deal.
And Marnus Labuschagne was obviously there, and Uzi. But yeah, Doggett 11 wickets, so it's the highest. So it broke the record for the most wickets and less runs conceded. So he's number 1, Brendan Doggett. So
and then he got 11 in a match.
Yeah, so he got
2 innings,
6 in the first and the 5 in the second. So
I've never heard that name before, so I'm guessing he's a genuine state cricket player.
Yes, yeah,
That's
interesting. I think he came from Queensland.
So he's not a South Australian.
No,
but he can play for South Australia.
Yeah, so like the footy, you can move from around.
Not state of origin though.
Not state of origin. No,
This is different.
it's different.
The footy is teams; they're not states.
Yeah,
South Australia is a state,
correct.
but anyone can play for it.
But it's a team. Yeah.
So you could bring in Imran Khan.
Yeah. I know you used to. I'm not sure.
So you could have imports come in.
I know you used to. I'm
He's
not
still
sure.
alive. Played cricket
Imran
for
Khan,
Pakistan in like
wasn't he
1990.
wasn't he like Pakistan's like premier or president or whatever? Yeah.
Did he play cricket?
Yeah.
Cool. That's right.
Yeah.
All good. Fact check that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that fucking hell. This now I'm going to get involved in more shit that doesn't have any relevance to my life. I think if you play for South Australia, you should be South Australian. It's not the Adelaide Strikers.
No, I get
it's
it.
the South Australian
I know
cricket
what you're
team.
saying. Yeah.
Like it's not Adelaide United and we bring in imports and Melbourne Victory.
Yeah.
It's South Australia.
Yeah, I get that. I know where you're coming
Can someone
from.
sort that out? I'm not a member of SACA
Well,
anymore. I let it lapse.
I suppose then you got to look at the current spread of players. Then a majority of them come from New South Wales due to lack of
who gives a fuck? That's the state. Then they're the
lack of
strongest state.
opportunity.
You know?
So they go to another state where they would be very beneficial. So like
Too bad
Sanger,
you got born in New South Wales.
Sanger came from New South Wales.
And then what happens? They do well for South Australia and they get moved back to New South Wales to play for their home.
Yeah,
team.
which is exactly what happened to Nathan Lyon. So Nathan Lyon was originally from the ACT, I'm pretty sure. Came to Adelaide Oval as a groundskeeper.
Yep.
Started playing well at district cricket. Got his opportunity to play in the Big Bash because of an injury.
Because
I
he
think
just happened to be there mowing the lawn.
happened to be there. Have to fact check that. Obviously had a wicked Big Bash series. Got a rookie contract or a contract for the Redbacks. Played Test cricket. First ball in Test cricket to Kumar Sangakkara. Caught it first slip. Michael Clark. Welcome to Test cricket.
Good morning. Thanks for
you know,
coming.
and now he's gone back to New South Wales because ACT don't have a state team like they do, but not in the Shield or the One Day Cup.
I don't agree with all that.
Who else? Who else was there? Well, Adam Gilchrist. He was from New South Wales originally. He ended up over in Perth. Yeah, there's a lot of it. You'd be surprised. Like Kawaja, he's not from Queensland.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it make proper sense. It's like
I know what you're saying.
You imagine the New South Wales, Queensland NRL state of origin.
Yeah, 100%.
And someone
I get it.
they just bring in some Adelaide dude, which is never going to happen. But
no, I get it.
Or they bring some dude over from Samoa and just like, here you go. He's playing state of origin. But he wasn't even born here. That's all right. Doesn't matter. Like, there's a lot of Samoans playing already, and there's not a spot for him. Yeah,
I get it. I get it.
It's stupid.
I suppose you got to just look at it as teams rather than states. But even though the
Maybe
teams
change the
are
name of the team.
states, yeah, I get it.
Change the team to the churches. The churches.
And Menenti, he
Is that Eminem?
Okay.
he fought very hard in that in the South Australian first innings.
MNMT.
Menenti.
Oh.
He and Jake Lehman put on a good partnership to get him to 270, which was important. So had a lead.
They're South Australian. They play for the team called South Australia.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, Queensland put on a massive third innings, their second innings of 400 and something, 470 or something, which led 270 for victory.
So we had to chase 270.
Which was a record.
Who won the toss?
South Australia did.
Chose to bat second.
Chose to bowl.
Mm.
Yeah.
I thought it was always runs on the board.
I'm pretty sure that they won the toss and bowled. Let me double check that. I don't want to get screamed at in the comments. I should have done all this beforehand, but I had a blood nose.
See how long it takes us to get you to be spoken about by Chad Corns.
Kane.
Oh, they're not the same person.
No. He can talk about me. I've got no bearing. He's got no bearing on my life.
Did I show you I found this Port Power soap for sale?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
I thought it was funny. And
South Australia won.
I'm not obviously aligned to any AFL team, but I thought it might be a funny joke to ask: Would a Port Power branded soap ever sell? Like a Port Power toothbrush, you know? So yeah, I saw that. I thought it was funny. Just Port Power soap.
Were there other team soaps?
Yeah, but it's not as funny.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's not as funny. I don't know. No, it doesn't make sense. Good chat.
But no, up the Sackers.
Hey guys, I hate to interrupt you, Nick. Hello there. But anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
She out of bloody hiding yet, Dylan? Or
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put
God.
All right. Don't know what's going these
No,
buttons.
they got mind of their own. But up the Sackers, 29 years. Up Ryan Harris.
Yeah, I saw that. So first year coaching
Yep.
South Australia.
Yep.
Has he coached other teams?
He's been the Australian bowling coach.
He's got a bit of a Cosgrove frame to him.
He is a solid man. He
Yeah.
used to play for the Northern Districts, Salisbury there.
Yep.
So, a funny story, not really a funny story, but a story about Ryan Harris. When I was in
I have a Ryan Harris story, but I can't tell it.
under 14s at the Jets, we had to get to training early that night because the A grade were playing a T20 that night at Salisbury Oval. So we had to get to training early, train, pack up the net so they could put the boundary out. And I think it was my second year at the Jets, and I didn't know anyone in senior cricket. So at the time, for reference, we had Mark Cosgrove, Graham Manu, and Ryan Harris. And I'd never heard of two of those people, only hearing about Mark Cosgrove. Anyway, so Graham Manu was keeping and Ryan Harris was bowling, and we were in the little grandstand there at Salisbury. And Manu was like back and like way back. And I was like, fuck, who is this guy? And I remember I was never seen live at that point in my life a quicker cricket ball being bowled down. And I was like, who is this guy, Ryan Harris? And I fell in love with him ever since.
Yeah.
And then when he got his test cap, I thought that's bloody brilliant.
We met him in the city, and it was either his Buck show or his best man. He was the best man at the Buck show. And that's all I can say.
Well, that's all that needs to be said. But no, yeah.
That's the first time I met him.
It was, the first season this year that the Redbacks, or it's the Saka now, South Australian cricket team, had a full rebrand, full restructure. It's what, from when I was coming through it to now, it's a lot better now than what it was. And it was probably, in my opinion, maybe 10 or so years overdue that the restructure happened. So, no, it was really good for the state. And obviously it was at Karen Rolton rather than Adelaide Oval, but it was a great turnout at
Did
Karen
you go?
Rolton. No, I couldn't go.
TV?
I was too busy. I just listened to it on the radio.
What station?
ABC.
We talked about this
Mm.
because we got offered to sponsor SEN.
Oh, it was a combination. Depends, because when I was driving, depends where you are in the city, or not in the city, but depends where you are out in the sticks. Sometimes you get better reception with SEN or ABC, so I just flicking between channels.
So it did look good. Interestingly, there was a bit of hoo-ha about it not being played at Adelaide Oval.
Which I understand.
It's a commercial decision.
Mhm.
But I did get thinking, did Karen Rolton go above capacity? Was it a point where they're like, sorry, no more people?
Well, they put the stands in.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, because I'm thinking Adelaide Oval, great, cool. You get to, if you're a youngster that comes through the ranks and you dream of playing a home final to take the Shield, and then you find out that it's not going to be played on Adelaide Oval, that could mean something to you. But I'm thinking Karen Rolton's probably a more intimate final where people are closer and it looks more populated because the stands don't go as deep. I thought it kind of made sense.
Well, I think there was 5,000 or so people there on the last day.
And there wouldn't have been more than that at Adelaide Oval. There might have been 8.
You could argue that there may have been more.
Yeah, but you don't know. You're never going to know.
You're never going to know. But, the stands were full. The Saka members area that they made was full.
Plus, you wouldn't have been able to run onto the ground at Adelaide Oval.
No, well, that's I was very surprised when I saw that. Like, you knew it was going to happen. A bit like when someone kicks 100 goals in a footy season. You knew it was going to happen, but I wasn't ready for that amount of people to just storm. Because, you wouldn't get that Adelaide Oval. You get shot.
They'd arrest you all.
Yeah, that's right.
I guess if you all do it, it's a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Like, especially what...
Like when Buddy kicked his 1,000th goal.
Like, I was just at a port game to ban more people that need more
Yeah.
tarps.
I was showing Dylan the tarps today on...
What, you don't know about tarps?
Oh, we were just talking about it.
Yeah.
And he's got the photo saved in his phone.
No, it was on YouTube. It was on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, hang on a sec. Nah, that's... Yep, there's a photo here somewhere.
No, but I still stand by that Port supporters need to show a little bit more respect to Ken Hinkley. I still stand by that.
Said, did you see my comment? I'm like, what was your comment? And he goes, it's like, are you sure you're qualified to make that?
Yeah, it was a good comment. It was, but he agreed with me about Hinkley. So, but
so the odds of the Crows winning the AFL Grand Final have now come down to $4.80.
Nah, that's scary. But
I wonder what the odds of them not winning are. Like, if I can bet on that.
It'd be short as be like $1. Yeah.
Yeah.
If that probably suspend it maybe.
Well, Hawthorn are favourites, $2.40. GWS $2.90. Brisbane $3.20. Crows $4.80. It was $6 when we did the last podcast.
Yeah. I mean, Brisbane, to Brisbane's credit, they came down from 32 points down against Geelong. It was a great fight back. It was a good game of footy to listen to. I wasn't able to watch it. I listened to it. So, but no, the Crowies.
I don't know if I could listen to a game of sport.
That's
Cricket, I get, because you just need to know. I don't know. I guess it's like listening to a game of chess. Like, you know where all the pieces are.
Yeah.
So they hit to this spot. You understand what that means. I just think AFL, how the mark's taken.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot more. It's a lot fast paced. You need to cricket, in my opinion, you can have in the background and you know what's going on.
Yeah.
If we're talking and the footy's on, like you could like be mid conversation and you hear the crowd going, and you go, what's that? Whereas in cricket, if it's a loud noise,
you've got time to catch it.
Well, you know what it is. It's there's either a wicket loud noise or it's a 4 or a 6 loud noise.
Because then, to go to the next level to try and listen to the NBA, you just fucking boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
boom. You wouldn't be able to talk as fast as the ball's moving.
No.
So who have the Crows got next?
Gold Coast, up in Gold Coast. This is going to be a good game of footy. I thought it was summed up nicely by Daniel Gorringe, Dan Does Footy, that
you're a fan.
At the beginning of the season, if
Gold Coast are favourites for that.
Yeah, if you had a thought that this would be a big game, you'd be laughing because, like, who would have thought that in round 4, Gold Coast and Adelaide would be a big game or a good game to watch, considering where they finished last year on the ladder. But
what's the score? The scores have been really high. Hey?
Yes, yeah. It could have been a lot higher on Saturday.
Because the over-under is 179. There's been like scores where both teams have kicked over 100.
Yeah, well, Crows against Essendon. Yeah, it was 261 points scored.
Do you think that the AFL is more offensive now than ever?
No, it's just Adelaide's game.
Yeah.
Like, so basically,
they'll just try and kick more goals than you.
Yeah,
they don't care how many you kick.
Yeah, Malcolm Blight mentality.
Yep.
You just because they were critical when Blighty was in control. That Blighty,
goals against,
and he goes, yeah, but we've scored more than them, so why does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And to be honest, it's a very entrepreneurial way of looking at the world. Like, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about the losses along the way as long as the score at the end's higher than the other person's score.
Yeah,
that's all that matters. Because the judgment's when the siren goes, not half time, not quarter time, not.
That's right, and that's I suppose it goes back to. Games of cricket aren't won in the first season, in the first session. Games of footy or premierships aren't won in the first 3 rounds. So, it's a cumulative effort. But the Adelaide's gameplay is fast moving footy to kick goals. So, and as a byproduct of that, their defense sometimes is lacking because they're so quick to get the ball forward that sometimes the defensive pressure, you're out of position if the ball gets turned over. That's the only trouble that I feel Adelaide will face against a stronger team. North Melbourne weren't able to capitalise on the weekend from the turnovers.
Runs,
so the turnovers. That and the umpires definitely kept them in the game by allowing.
I heard that from a few people.
It was the worst game of umpiring.
And sometimes I'm like, yeah, of course you say that, you fucking, because that you're going for the other team.
It was both ways.
So what happens then? Like,
well,
the AFL don't do anything about it.
Well, they have to. I said because someone replied to my story and said, 100% on the umpiring.
But then what?
But my reply was there needs to be an inquiry because those umpires don't go home that night and go, well done, boys. We fucking did a solid effort. There's absolutely no way if I came to work and I was performing that way and I went home and said, fuck, that was a solid effort work. And I knew deep down.
But the problem is the coaches can't talk about it publicly.
No, but
and the players can't talk about it publicly.
But not publicly.
But head office can go back to AFL and go, something needs
to
happen.
The coaches would be able to do a coach's report, like an umpire's report. We used to do it at cricket. If you were the captain, you'd do an umpire's report each game. And I'm assuming the same happens at footy, especially at high level.
Well, it has to.
It has to because...
Well, there's beyond just the fact that it's the highest level of sport in that chosen sport in the country, there's money being bet on it. Big money.
It's exactly what Mum said.
Which brings into question...
the integrity. Yeah. Well, that's
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
no, that's what
some people would say, were you involved in the upside of this loss?
Yeah. you know, and the integrity unit of the AFL would obviously investigate those claims, but both ways. Like, yes, there were horrendous calls against Adelaide, but yes, there were horrendous calls against North Melbourne. It was horrendous.
Is there an argument then that it would be better for the AFL that the umpiring was a robot or an AI? Players are still humans.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not there
and it's
yet.
clinical.
It's not there
There's
yet.
an AI that goes, these are the boundaries, these are the rules, these are the angles in which an arm can bend and touch, and even cricket, right? You've got the other thing. Every ball gets watched by a camera, and if that arm bends too much, and it's a chuck.
My only concern, other than the fact,
takes something away.
Yeah, the only thing I'm concerned about, other than the fact that it's definitely not there yet, is the umpire is also there to control the game. So when
robots could just have lasers.
Yeah, but like when things get heated,
shoot the dude.
Yeah, well,
or do that. Women play sport too, you fucking pig.
Like when things get heated, the umpire's job is to de-escalate and move the game of footy on.
Drones.
Yeah,
they can just grab everyone and move them.
Maybe, but no, I don't. There still needs to be umpires, and umpires are the most important part of sport because without them, there's no game, right?
That's not true. Parents come out and do it.
Oh fucking! You imagine? I've got some stories about an old Australian cricket coach and what he had to deal with parents. Yeah, and that's at the highest level of cricket. Imagine at footy, like highest level of footy.
It's so funny.
Like,
you see the emotion of a parent when their child gets mistreated. Fuck, because we see it all the time, and I am on the side of the parents being unreasonable. I'm really surprised I didn't get removed from a stadium recently.
Well, it's like you said, it's all emotion driven.
Well, there's rules, right? And our kids get taught the rules, as do the adults, and they go play by the rules. And then when the person, the umpire, police officer, whoever, country, government, whatever, do not support the people that are doing the right thing, then that's when anarchy occurs. And in sport, you've got these kids that are like, all right, so if you double bounce the ball, double dribble, basketball. If you hold the hand under the ball, carry. If you stand still and someone runs into you and knocks you over, it's a charge. But you've got inexperienced umpires that aren't calling that shit at the highest level, not necessarily inexperienced. And you're like, what's the fucking point? Like, and that's why I'm like, well, hang on, wouldn't it make more sense just to use an AI once it's established to that point where all the calls are perfect?
Yeah.
But I feel like true sports fans want some of the calls to go the wrong way. Just some of the calls. Yeah. Like you just said that game was atrocious. I'm sure there's been games and you're like, fuck, we're lucky we got away with that one.
100%. And I agree 1,000,000% because there's been times.
Not possible.
No, it is, especially in
just
footy terms.
Stops at 100.
All right, 100%. I agree with that because there are times in sport and in life where you do get lucky and you get unlucky, and that is life. But
so what's the appropriate amount of bad umpiring? Who chooses that? Well, because obviously that wasn't.
Well, if you're gonna be shit, then if you're gonna make bad decisions, you make that same decision every single time in that game.
You need to be consistently
shit. I'm all for consistently shit.
As I said that, I start thinking about some of the people that are in our space from a supply standpoint.
But if you know,
they're consistent.
But if you know, all right, in the first quarter, Dylan's had his head ripped off in a contest, but that's the standard.
And I should be able to go do the same, and I won't get pulled for it.
You obviously don't want to rip someone's head off willingly, but if it's part of a contest,
pussy,
then I don't know. There had to be some form. Oh Jesus! There had to be some form of inquiry after that game because it was so
like
bad.
The umpires should get games, but I also think if that happens, that it should be public.
Yes.
To go back to the public, the CEO who it's interesting. This is just coming into my head as I'm saying it. I went and watched a community cabinet meeting of our Labor leadership of this state. And they're in front of the people and they're being transparent. The CEO should be getting up with the head of umpiring, whoever, if that's a thing, and going, we saw
made a mistake.
What happened. They have been given 2 weeks leave without pay or with pay to do some fucking lessons or whatever, even if it's fucking bullshit. But it just shows the public that, cool. But then the problem is, what's the recourse on that when Sportsbet go, you motherfuckers cost us $2.3 million because it went the way it shouldn't have gone, and now we're going to sue the AFL.
Yeah.
So they can't do anything.
Outside of money, the recourse of
losing
umpires.
A fucking premiership.
Yeah. of umpires being disciplined is then that the next game they go into, they're either tentative or they're just straight on the whistle, and then you're back at square one. So it's,
and they cop a lot of shit from the crowd.
100%, and it is a fine line. I mean, umpiring.
And what you said is true. You do need the umpires, like
and it's a fine line, and it's a difficult job, and it's not something that I'm capable of doing.
I don't know. Like, and I know this is going to sound stupid, but it's not that fucking hard.
No,
right?
but
There's some great umpires. Just get more of them.
I agree.
Was Razor Ray a good umpire?
No. Well,
he was just well known.
And he was well known, but he had everyone
He's
has
had moments.
He's had moments.
I guess you got to
Everyone
remember they're humans, right? So who knows? Like they might have a family health problem, or their wife just cheated on them, or fucking their dog ran away. Like shit happens.
I just think as long as after that game, those umpires were sat down and said, "Look, boys, not a good one. That was not a good one."
Yep. No snakes after the game. No chocolates.
If there's an efficiency rating like you rated in the C minus, our standard is at least a B plus.
Yep.
You were well off the line.
And then what?
We're going to go to the media. We're going to say, look, we let some. We did. We were not that great, and we'll be better. No different to when the ICC rates a cricket pitch. Yep, this pitch was garbage. It was 900 runs for 17 wickets. That's not Test cricket. That's not what people want to watch. And at the other end of the scale of footy, no one wants to watch bad umpiring. It'd rather be fair umpiring and consistent umpiring.
What happened to the lawn out the front?
Lawn out the front. Well, it's under regulation.
Petrol.
It's under regulation, so it's
like bits that have been missed.
I said to Riley, it's not growing out of control because it's regulated. All you need to do is follow the lines. You'll be right. And I mean, he hasn't used
There's a few hedges out there.
In his defense, he hasn't used a Scotty for a while. So, but the edges are intact.
Yeah.
There's a brow on the one down the side here where he's just,
you can see it from up here.
Yeah, I know. But
there's also a bunch of other shit growing in there.
Kaikuyu.
Yeah, we're just letting it go.
Weeds from across the road.
Yeah, you don't want to pull it out?
I'll get it out.
What are we doing differently over there? We're not mowing that with a cylinder?
No.
It's statue as fuck.
Yeah, it's tall.
Is that on purpose?
The mower's at its limit.
Can we mow it with the cylinder?
No, you can. You
don't want to get the sand?
Well, no, you can. It's just it would just go brown.
Okay.
So it'll be fine.
Fair enough.
But the Overso project next week. Looking forward to that.
It?
Yep. So we've got.
I had half a pizza before.
Celeste
good. Said to me, "There's some there if you want."
No,
it's got a bit of chili on it, which might hurt your little fucking.
No,
sensitive
I'm good
tongue.
now. I'm all good now.
I don't know what I was talking about. Oh,
pizza.
yeah, Celeste. I said, "Do you want some pizza?" And she's like, "No, I don't want to feel tired later." I'm like, "That's not a thing."
Next minute.
I'm like, I think like to the point where I ate that pizza and started getting hay fever.
Yeah, wow.
Like my eyes were like, "Oh, fucking fuckola," whatever that is, fuckola.
But no, we got some equipment coming next week. So we've got the
From where?
Adelaide Equipment Hire. Believe his business name is that. But we'll cover it all in the video.
Oh fuck.
We got the Eco 250 top dresser. We got the Billy
top
Go
dress the lawn in one pass.
Yep. Billy Go Scarify and the Billy
You know
Goat
what we
Cora.
should do is fill that top dresser up with red sand, and we'll walk up and down the street and top dress those cunts' cars. Sorry, you might need to beat that out. Just be like,
Yeah.
hey,
Payback.
hey, do you like apples? How do you like them apples? No, in their defense, and for people that are watching, and this person might very well be one of them. So, ironically, the person in charge of that site's first name is Dusty, which I thought was ironic.
Fitting.
But he's been amazing. He DM'd me on Instagram 2 or 3 weeks ago and just said, "Hey, that's me across the road doing that." Do you know about this? No. So the guy running the site over there followed me on Instagram. And so I'm like, this fucking dust. And he was so good. He's like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I'll come and see you. We'll get a cleaner to come and professionally clean shit. Like, I understand what it's like running a small business. It shouldn't be on you. We're a family business too." I was like, I did not expect that because the builders that are building the buildings at Kent Town give less than 0 fucks.
Well, they make up their own parking on a public street.
And then we complained about it. So they just made a different sign that says this parking has been approved by the council. I'm like, show me.
Prove it.
Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Pizza, though, Marcelina's, wasn't sure. Amazing.
Yeah.
I thought it might just be one of those kind of like...
No, Marceline is usually a pretty safe bet.
Yeah. Just good topping density and distribution and like real flavoursome and like tasty cheese. Sometimes the cheese is cheap on pizzas. Just really happy with it. I should give them a review. Maybe we could just send them this clip. You got not much else on this time of year?
So how was Melbourne?
I really enjoyed it, and I hate Melbourne, and I think it's growing on me like a cyst. It was good. Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it.
Yeah,
It looked a lot better this year.
the weather was amazing, dude. Like I think we saw their only good day that they've had for a year. Like it was 30 and sunny on Friday. It was fucking stupid. Yeah, but I'm talking like I don't know if half those people had seen the sun. That there were kids there. They're like, "Mummy, what's that?" Like,
bit like us in rain.
And I had who was on the phone to yesterday? Greenworks. So they're very keen to work with us. And the dude's like, "Oh yeah, you'd be looking forward to some rain." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, dude." I'm like, we also own irrigation shops, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, we don't need rain. We've got like products to distribute the rain. So if you want rain, buy a sprinkler system, put it on your roof. If you want rain on your house, we'll do that.
Yeah, we'll do it.
But yeah, it was really good. Like I think Dylan and I were talking about it. So for those of you watching and listening that are like, what the fuck are you talking about? For the last 5 years with a break for Dan Andrews' retarded behaviour, we would fly to Melbourne and do interviews with the people that built gardens at the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show in Carlton Gardens, and would film them, put them on YouTube. Head over to WaterPro AU on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe. And so this year we went over, and it's what, your second or third year? Third year. So Dylan probably had a bit more comfort doing it. Like he'd done enough of them. He probably knew the shots he was trying to capture. He knew where he couldn't stand. He knew what he had to say and what he didn't have to say. And like Mudge was actually quite helpful as well. I didn't really think about the need of having a second person there, but just having someone there to support the camera or to run ahead to the next site and say, "Hey, we're not far away. Hi, I'm Adam.
Yeah.
Want to buy some sprinklers?" It just worked really well. It just worked. Like, and the good thing is, like, because Mudge is such a fucking side quest, he just does it.
Yeah.
To the detriment of him doing his job sometimes. But he just does it. Like he's so good at it. He sees what, and that's from working in the rigs, right? Like you can see someone's going to need a spanner soon, and you just go get it. You don't stand there and be a fucking idiot. You just go get it. So he was, yeah. He loves it. He loves being involved. So it was perfect. So I think we did 6 or 5 garden tours.
Yeah, it's 9 videos in total.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, aesthetically, it looked much better this year than the photos and videos I saw of last year.
I think the gardens were another level. I don't know. I mean, there was 2 golds, a silver gilt, which is just below gold. Then the rest was silvers. Of the 6 show gardens they had, it was like gold, silver gilt, silver. So no bronzes, which is, I hadn't seen that before. There's always a bronze, and it comes down to the scoring. They go so they build their show gardens. The scorers get score. The scorers go score. The judges go score, and then they get their points, and that sits somewhere. And a couple of the guys were a bit disappointed with silver, I think, and they won't talk about it publicly because it's not the right thing to do, especially in like a garden show's a little bit probably like cricket. Like you just have your sandwiches and just accept what happened, and the umpire was right, and we carry on with life. Like it's a bit like that, but I was kind of like, I don't know, I can see where.
Yeah.
It's the last thing you want to hear, this fucking idiot from Adelaide who has no garden design construction background at all, just going, you could have probably like not painted that white and that would look better. But garden design is a lot like art, right? So I think it's fair for people to have their own opinion of it. Some love it, some hate it. But the big glaring, shining light was that South Australia took a contingent over and took 100% South Australia and supplied and constructed a garden, and not only finished the garden, but they won a gold medal, one of only 2. They also won best in show, and they also won best use of plant life, which was a massive deal for the Heine's nursery and the Heine's family. Like, they'd never done anything like that before, I don't think, to that scale. Rob had never designed a garden like that before. Jurgen and Desert Flower had never built a garden like that before. And there was a lot of other supporters through their tiling companies and that, but there was a lot of people involved. But for us, the Wednesday night was pretty cool. I didn't even see you, I was fucking like off in Clint land. I hadn't drank for 21 days or something. And I drank 10 glasses of champagne at the fucking show, and then double rums and double vodkas at the pub afterwards, and
that's got Clint giggle all
punched
over
some
it.
darts and broke some hearts. And,
Yeah.
it was heaps of fun. But where people know who we are now, even you, right? Like people know who you are and they'll seek you out because you filmed for them before and they'll talk to you. So
That's cool.
we had a client come up to me or a potential client and discuss the potential of us supplying irrigation to them in Melbourne because they're sick of the offerings over there. And so Dylan got to watch the Clint show, which I hadn't been in sales mode for a while.
Yeah.
I told
Yeah,
everyone that
just
Dylan was
planted
just like,
that.
it was amazing. I learned so much. You're the father figure I wish I had. Shout out
That
to
sounds like Dylan.
Dylan's dad. Yeah, that's everything Dylan would say
Yeah.
and more. So yeah, it was good. It was good. We had an Airbnb, which was nice to just have a house to go back to rather than individual
Rooms.
rooms. We had a podcast studio set up there, so that's why I said the full landscape at the start of this podcast. We did a full landscape podcast with Emma from New Zealand, and then the Wednesday night I went out with Matt Nash from Prestige Surfaces for dinner, which was cool. Thursday night, sorry, and there was just 4 of us. We had a wicked dinner and just laughed and talked shit, which is I'm trying to find what would be called a healthy relationship with alcohol, and it was wicked. Like I didn't drink leading up to it. Had a massive night on the Wednesday night. Still rocked up, and you ask him, dude, I was fucked. Like
I'll believe it.
I couldn't stomach food.
Yeah.
Like they had coffee. He's like, you want coffee? I'm like, oh.
Did you have to go inside or were you
We
outside?
walked. So luckily we
Okay.
walked. So I wasn't going to get in a car.
No.
We didn't go into a building, which saved
Yeah,
me.
that I was gonna say
Yeah.
that's what saved him. Yeah.
But at 8 o'clock, I was like, g'day guys, Clint here from Water Pro, and we're here with such and such.
No,
At
it's-
the Melbourne International, like I switched straight into
Yeah.
to
That's
mode.
good.
And I think the people were quite supportive of us. They knew who we were. They weren't, because remember the first year, they was just like, so what do you do on YouTube? Can you come back tomorrow? Yeah, it was very much like that. Whereas this year they're like, oh yeah, sick. Like
Yeah.
8 o'clock. So Dylan did a lot of the heavy lifting before we got there. So we had an 8 o'clock, a 9 o'clock, a 10 o'clock, and 11 o'clock on that morning after I had the big night. I had no intentions of getting that fucked up, which is, that's what the book's called, right?
Yeah.
The book about how fucked up I got's called I Had No Intentions About Getting That Fucked Up. But it was good. And I guess having that, the diary to be accountable to, I had to get up and go do it. So whereas when I'm traveled with you and I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm not,
Yeah.
you go do it. So.
But like I noticed on social media, there's a lot more social media attention to. I don't know if
It might be you. It might just
maybe,
be that
'cause-
you're across it more.
Yeah, because I remember the first year I was with the company you went and I had no idea what
Like,
it
what
was.
are you doing?
and-
You're going to Melbourne. Look at fucking flowers.
yeah,
Yep.
which at the time I thought was quite odd, but then it sort of made sense over time. And then, I saw, maybe it was just my algorithm, but there was a lot of people there that, I don't know, like I just said, the social media presence seemed to be a lot more. And
Well, you know a lot of the people that were there as well. So it doesn't make sense to people that don't understand the long game. But there is a very real possibility that we will have an irrigation shop in Victoria in the next single figure years. Might be 3, could be 9, I don't know. But the fact that this year, 5 years ago, we would go there and people would say, I'd say, where do you buy your irrigation from? They're like, oh, we buy it from this shop. I'm like, cool. And it was always 9 out of 10 people would say that shop. And I was like, okay, cool. And I know the shop does well. Me and the owner had a loose conversation about potentially selling it to me at some point. Didn't go that way. All good. And I kind of went, well, I don't like going to Melbourne. It's very busy. I don't like the traffic. Sometimes the people fuck me off. But I've been to the wrong spots.
Yeah.
And so this time I was in a different area. I was like, this is good actually. Like where we stayed was good. Hey, like it didn't feel that dense. You could get to things easily. You could walk to everywhere. Like it wasn't overpopulated. And I think some of the stuff that had pissed me off in Melbourne was the smuttiness and the spitting and like just fucking piggishness of people on the street. And I didn't see that. I don't know if I felt like it must just be like these little, it must have been different segments. We stayed on Lygon Street in Carlton. I think it was in Carlton. Yeah, it was cool.
and he's still alive. That's good.
Yep. He's started 2 more pornos, but
Yeah.
2 more adult.
He's part of the underbelly world now, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yep. Under multiple bellies, that one.
Yeah.
So this is the first year where I felt like we could open an irrigation shop there and do well straight away. I think 5 years ago I was like, this is going to be hard, and this could mean I would have to move here, and it could mean more presence. But this was the first time where I was like, We've already got one person that was interested, very interested, was unhappy with what was happening. Then you talk to, like, even like Daniel was like, dude, you fucking open a shop here. I'm buying from you. Joel, same deal. Like, it was, you start stringing a bunch, 10 or 15 people together. So it was never the strategy to do it for that purpose, but it's a very nice bonus that if we did go open there, I'd honestly do it because I enjoy doing it. And like I was saying, I said it to you a few times, like, this is probably, it probably cost me $5,000 to fly over there, take Mudge and Dylan. I mean, the accommodation was 2 something. Flights is probably another 2. Like, well, with my flights, it's probably even more. So I think you have to enjoy it. But then, obviously, my focus is Lawnhub USA. That has to take priority. But the reality is, I think we can do more than one thing at a time. And obviously, with the support of a good team, I can kind of go in that direction and then go in that direction and then go in that direction. So we're definitely not opening a shop in Victoria in the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
But
Well, you never know as well.
Who knows? If someone owned one in Melbourne or in the CBD at the moment, in the north or the east, and they rang and said, hey, we've got this business that's turning over 3.8 million under management. I'm retiring. I don't have a succession plan. This is what I want for it, and I'd vendor finance it, and you can run it using your systems without being here. It would be a yes straight away. So who knows?
Yeah.
But
Well, that's it.
they don't 3D print those.
No, it's a bit like our media ads there for unicorns, and that sounds like a very unicorn style.
But it happens, and
It
you put
happens.
it out into the universe, and then all of a sudden, shit happens, and you're the first person they think of because you're easy to deal with, and you've got the same values. And speaking of 3D printing, did you see? I saw caught on the news last night or this morning. Some dude, former AFP officer, and some 16-year-old kid got arrested for 3D printing high quality weapons.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
Did you see that? I hope that's right, but yeah, it was very much. I'm pretty sure that was it. Like, they were selling 3D printing. Now I'm going to have the AFP here.
Yeah.
How to 3D print a gun.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me the way that 3D printing's come in leaps and bounds in the last few years. Like, it's just everything makes sense in the.
Yeah, 4 arrested over alleged illegal manufacturing of 3D. That was 4 weeks ago. Why was it only on the news today?
Maybe maybe something had happened yesterday.
60, not 16. Yeah. 4 men aged 27, 31, 34, and 60. I'm pretty sure one of them was a former police officer.
Well, maybe that report mentions 4, and then the report
one,
you heard was the AFP, former AFP.
New South Wales and the ACT. Yeah. So I thought, fuck, that's crazy.
That is crazy. But nothing really surprises me.
I'm going to start 3D printing armor so I can protect myself from the 3D printed guns. Well, we've heard of one person getting caught doing it. You imagine the ones that aren't getting caught. The ones that aren't posting on fucking like Etsy 3D guns for sale. And if they're made of plastic, they're not going to get picked up by metal detectors. It's quite dangerous.
Heavy either. Well, they may
not financial advice.
Not financial advice.
Bruh.
Did you watch much of the budget?
None.
None.
Oops,
that's pretty much.
That was the wrong button.
What it was.
The federal budget. I think they could have told every citizen of the country that they were going to give them $10,000 each, and they still won't win the next election.
They reckon that polls, the polls that they're doing, like the random ones, that's still Labor favourable, but I can't see that being 100% true. I can't see that being truthful at all. To be
every
honest.
major, what you would call developed country in the world, I mean, since Spicy has had a change of government.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what they do now. The issue we've got is if the Liberal Party had a more popular leader, it would be a fucking home run. But people don't trust Dutton. I think they look at him and they're just like,
I can understand why though, and I think
you're not allowed to say potato. I know that.
No.
He'll send you a letter.
No, I'm not interested in saying that, but I think you summed it up the other day,
These fucking waters,
quite well. That like there's things from both, but it's about balance, and I just think I can't see Australia being another 3 or 4 years or whatever it is under the current Labor government. And that was what I was going to say. You summed it up about how you can't please everyone.
Yeah.
But I don't feel the current power is pleasing
a majority.
They're pleasing a much more smaller smaller amount. But I don't know. The older I get, the more intrigued I get.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I didn't vote properly till I was, I think, 28. Like,
well, I would be the same.
I know. To be honest, I don't think you should. If you don't know, don't vote. Like, just throw it away.
I don't think I actually didn't vote last time because I was away, and then I ended up getting a letter, but that got all sorted. But I didn't vote last one. But this one, I'll definitely take more time to compare. And 3rd of May.
I think I was thinking about it yesterday because I went to that community cabinet and posted something on it, and it was very funny. And I don't know if you know this, but I was someone that I had met with and offered a job to, and had no response from a year plus ago. Responded to my fucking post on LinkedIn, and I was like, "Oh, cool. So you're not dead."
Yeah.
Separate story, but that the comment was, you'll get even more benefit if you join the party of your choice. And I laughed in my head because I was like, I don't have a party.
No,
like I did have a party. I was very much party driven, but I think my politics is not dislike my sport. I have players, not teams.
Yes,
I like Brendan Favola. I like Luka Doncic. But I guess in the NBA, there's other players I like as well. So I don't necessarily have a team, which is really sad because it goes away from what was traditionally how it should have been, right? You choose a fucking side and then you fight till you die, and then your kids choose the same side. But I think the internet and the world that we live in today actually gives us less need to be so, what would you call it? Like territorial or like what is it, like they're in the wild, they would be like clans, like to stay with your clan because you don't have to just fly somewhere else, which makes loyalty interesting.
I had a good conversation the other day about loyalty with someone, and how there's almost now there's different types of loyalty.
Well, you need like loyalty to yourself, right? Whereas, and that might be a generational thing, but if you think about like people that would go to fight in a war to save their country, their loyalty was to the country, and they knew that they could die. People won't do that now. They're like, I don't want to die.
Because we were talking about jobs, and this person actually asked me if I'd ever leave and start a fertilizer business, and the answer was straight away no. And one, because of loyalty, but two, because that's not why I did. That's not why I moved, and I'm not interested in doing that. I'd rather continue to grow this brand. Because his question was like, well, I'm loyal to my current employer because they gave me an opportunity, but this other place is offering me more money, more opportunity. And I was like, and he's like, but I want to stay. And I'm like, well,
that's a conversation.
That's a conversation. That's exactly what it is with your current employer, and go, hey, just letting you know that company B has offered me this. I don't really want to leave, but this type of money could change my family.
I've had that conversation with a bunch of staff. It's sometimes it feels strategic that they're doing it to try and get a pay rise. And if you are doing it, if you're pretending to do it, you want to be really fucking careful that they don't call you bluff and go, I think you should probably take the job. It's a good opportunity.
Yeah.
Because I would do that for some of the guys. Like I'd be like, if you get like, so if you're like in a role where I'm like, you know what, there's not much room for you to grow anywhere for the next whatever, you're getting offered 50% more than your current salary. They're a good person or it's a good employer. I think you should do it. But that conversation at least will highlight to the owner or the manager that they're loyal and go, I'm not even going to the meeting. I'm just letting you know that this is what's happened. But it might trigger them to go, are we paying this person, not just financially, but are we giving this person their market value for what they do for us? Because that's really all it is.
Yeah. And then I said, because the industry that this person's in is very, it's vast, but his job role is very particular. I said, but then you don't want to then be known as that person that, because the industry talks.
Well, it's how you handle it.
Regardless what it is.
We see it, the fertilizer sales rep industry, like the direct, like the ones that sell to golf courses and that, you see how much jumping happens in there. But then I was talking about this with Celeste yesterday because something came up. Oh, landscaping. She's like, do they jump around a lot? And I'm like, yeah, they do. Like the estimators, project managers, they're fucking always moving. Whereas we don't have that. Like people don't go from us to then, so from an irrigation standpoint to, Greece and then to fucking wherever else.
Yeah.
They kind of just stay with who they stay with. And if they leave, they go to another industry.
Mm.
Everyone kind of sticks it out. But you look at like architects, landscape architects,
Oh,
they're all moving all
yeah.
the time.
And it's almost now expected. You know?
Well,
and accepted.
a good friend of mine a long time ago said the only real way to increase your salary rapidly is to move.
Oh, 100%.
Because it's not often that you'll get like not a lot of businesses will acknowledge what you're doing for them and reward you for it before they need to, because the businesses don't look at it like that. But
No.
the other side is, I think sometimes the grass looks greener on the other side, or the other employer thinks they know about this person when they don't.
Yeah. And I think grass is always greener. That statement is a massive cliche, but it is often quite true. You know, like people often sell you the world and deliver an atlas, and it's like, fuck. Now you're left with your dick in your hand, and you're going, fuck. You know, I probably should have listened to.
There's a lot of sayings in that sentence: atlases and dicks and hands and shit.
Got them all, mate.
Like, what was the other one? The one that you keep saying that you said is a cricket analogy.
Early doors.
You said it in a meeting the other day, and I just let you go with it. I was like, yeah.
No, but that person I said it to would have understood because of geographically where they live.
They're an eastern suburbs human being.
So,
How long have we been going for? All right. What do we need to talk about? What's going on? So
the Overso next week, we got Barricade 250ml in stock and walking out the door.
yeah, did we sell more than 100 bottles in a day?
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking nuts.
So that's, you know, for the competitors watching.
How'd you go? How'd you go on your first day?
And
we don't have competitors.
I
I'm doing a
can-
lot of personal development at the moment, Jonesy.
Yes,
and,
you are.
You don't need to worry about the competitors. You just need to worry about
No,
yourself.
that's right. But I can
Isn't that right, Ovo?
I can solemnly swear that
Other people don't have to fail for you to succeed.
no. But if someone said, like, if there's
Sounds
people
beautiful,
out there that go, oh, it's easy to sell something when you discount it. We only sold one discounted Barricade that day
Oh, because someone would have used a code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
on that specific product. But
So how do you like them apples?
but no, it's obviously by now the video would have went live, Dylan. Yeah, so the 250ml Barricade
I've
video
seen that. That's how people in Gawler talk.
would have went live. So it's obviously very convenient sized bottle.
You can put it in your pocket. You can steal it.
You literally could
easily
put it-
shopliftable.
It's about the size of a flask. So
Head to your local Water Pro and stick it in your hands.
so it's exciting. It's and we've talked about it before, but a company that's willing to work with us is always helpful as well. So
Interestingly, while I was in Melbourne, I caught up with Total Tools, we haven't populated them on the website properly yet because I'm having a lot of trouble negotiating.
did you just want me to do it?
It just has to be manually entered. This can't be fucked. There's like 38 stores. Imagine there was 100. Well, there will be. I got the export. Now it won't let me import it. So then I've lodged a ticket with the company that runs the app that manages our locator on our Shopify site, and I'm waiting for them to look at it. It's just fucking annoying. And I could have
Elizabeth's on there.
offshored it. Yeah, because I did that
Yeah.
one. I was testing it.
That was okay.
They were the top of the list. So sorry to the other stores. We will get to it. But I think that that meeting went really well, and it won't surprise me if we see every store take stock by September, October. So it'll just give.
I mean, yeah, we'll talk off camera, but it makes sense that they'd commit more so in those months than going.
Well,
into,
they have to. It's hard. Like the stores that have jumped on, like I think Ballarat's been really aggressive with their social media, and from what they were telling me, they've sold the most. So you're going to get out of it as much as you put into it. But I do feel like there's a responsibility on us to keep talking about it and make sure people know that it's there, but also to make sure people don't forget that the resellers that have always been there in your area are still there. That's what I was going to talk to you about. We said about the giving away the thing. So Greenworks have said that they'll do something with us. So we might end up changing the prize, but we will do. Hang on. Today's the first. Oh, excuse me. That's that pizza just fucking kicking.
Yeah, it's just drop back a gear.
Rochambeauing me.
Does that mean we're giving away something?
Today's Wednesday, bro. If we gave something away, I'd go live on Friday and just do it on my own. I probably will. I'm amazing. I can do anything. That's something else we talked about yesterday in my counselling session. I can do anything. But I need to remember that I'm not God. That was something that came up. Or a God. No, that's what she said.
Wow.
See? That was amazing.
What was your favourite April Fool's post yesterday that you saw on the socials, Clint? Like ours was pretty good.
Ours was average.
I think people actually want that product.
I know. Well, I spoke to a guy this morning that reckons he could make it. He said, but it wouldn't last overnight. He said, I could probably get it to last about an hour after the sun went down. That's fucking pretty crazy that your lawn glows in the dark for an hour.
We should do
I saw New South Wales police put roundabouts in.
Oh, I saw that. That was a good laugh.
I thought that was interesting.
I feel like this year, not a lot of companies got on board it this year.
Yeah.
Maybe the fads.
Everyone's probably too scared of upsetting the wrong person.
That's true. Yeah.
I can't think of any. Like, I was looking. I didn't see.
Yeah, I wanted to see him. I was like, show me.
Yeah, that was
yeah,
alright,
in the
actually.
deli.
I didn't mind that.
In the Bay Marie.
I thought that was pretty funny.
That was funny.
not on the news. We love him.
Yeah, well, Drake's now have been awarded the Royal Show tickets. They've been pushing for that since before
sell them.
to sell the show tickets. So previously, you have to go into Foodland to get them. So ever since before I left, Drake's were pushing to be the
Do you
sole.
think we should put a Lawnhub stand at the show?
Two things.
I guess you would have to be there every day.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that.
We can put Riley down there.
Maybe you can go in the
We'll give Riley some of that fucking like old school Nazi meth.
Yeah, like Lawnhub live at the show. That would be interesting. What's the main hall there at the
Pavilion Jubilee?
Yeah, Jubilee, yeah, you could set up a stand in there, but I don't really know. Like, I don't know. How long's the show go for? 11 days.
Yeah, I think so. You could sell a lot of fertilizer.
I'm not arguing that. You'd have
a long time. Though.
You wouldn't want to send people home with buckets though.
No, you just do a fucking Scooby Doo Uber, fucking.
Yeah. I don't know.
Riley down there for 10, 11 days straight. Let's have Riley on the stand on his own with an Excel spreadsheet.
It'd be a pro by the end of it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's nothing that we haven't done it before, so it'd be something new. I think we'd learn a lot from it.
You know what would be better?
It'd either be something we'd do again or never do again.
Well,
So
that's very much clear. It's very binary.
Mm.
They are the only two options.
Mm.
Or like we would like half do it, and we just have lawn but not hub.
No, but like if it did well, then you could like really advocate for a bigger space or an area or whatever or a lawn or whatever. I don't know.
Fuck.
The ideas are endless, but if I'm being completely honest, right now at this moment in time, there's probably better things that we could spend our energy on.
500,000 people attend the show each year.
Mm.
That's a fuckload of people
in such a short space of time.
Yeah,
It's at 50,000 a day.
You almost want to get the product in with someone else and have them sell it for you. Like if another business had a stand and then just have a Lawnhub stand on their stand.
I think.
Hang on, when is it? September. Yeah, it's a
September?
fucking perfect time. It could be big.
It could be big. I'm just, yeah. It'd be better at the show than at a dedicated turf show.
Yeah.
Because you'd see a lot bigger demographic and people would come in and go, like they are sort of on the edge, a bit like why I think the football TikTok went well. Like people in football, grass or turf, they're all in the similar circle, so it might have appeared in front of new audiences. Lawnhub at the show, for example, would be people that would go normally buy from a hardware store and go, oh, no shit, I didn't know that was made here or that was here. Or
Yeah, I can just go buy it. I don't have to think about it.
Yeah, that's right. And there's resellers local, Well,
Oh, Dylan.
I suppose the next question is how much is a stand at the show?
It wouldn't be that much. Please hold.
Like a little stand.
No, you'd need
We've got sign people. We've got sticker people.
3x6. How much is a stand at the Royal Show?
In the Jubilee.
No, you want to be with all the other The Royal Show. Oh, that's for a stable. You can get a stable for $30 per day with lockers at $15 per day.
A stable.
Well, you can sleep there and poo there.
Going to put a harness on Dylan and make him stand there.
Ride him in.
Shit on the ground.
How much would it cost? Commercial exhibitors. There won't be pricing. Presented by Drake's. You were right. More free advertising for these blokes. I can't find anything. 36's stand. Why are we talking about this already? It's 6 months from now, isn't it?
Well,
is it a big deal?
The show?
Yeah.
It's fucking massive for the state.
It is?
Massive for the carnies.
So, like, hang on a sec. So, while the show's on, there's all these empty houses in Gawler. We could just go fucking rob them during the day.
Not financial advice.
The Australian Dental Foundation, Australian Outdoor Living. I don't know, Dylan. What are the dates? Nah, like I don't. It wouldn't be ridiculous because otherwise no one would do it. You'd expect you could probably get a stand there for $10,000 to $15,000. I would say for 11 days. That would be 3x3, 6x3. If you go big, it'd be 50 grand. My concern is staffing it.
Yeah.
Because you got to put someone there from when it opens to when it closes, which is 12-hour days. Would be 10 till 10, 10 till 9 kind of thing.
I'm not sure what the commitment would need to be and whether the Jubilee needs to be manned the whole time. I'm not sure.
Well, it does because otherwise people will steal your shit, bro.
Especially if they're from the south.
Calm down. August 30 till September 7.
Oh, so what? That's that. 9 days.
31 days in August. 8 days.
8 days.
I think they try and get 2 weekends.
Yeah. Starts on a weekend, ends on a weekend. Well, I'm just thinking that, like, if we were to attend, there'd have to be a day where, you know,
Would be one Friday.
the talent.
I'd be there the whole time.
Yeah.
Imagine how, the only thing that matters to me
is talking to people.
is people recognizing me and saying, I know you, and then telling me how good I am. Like, there'd be one a day, maybe one every 3 days.
Mm.
That would be amazing. I'd pay 15 grand for that. I love this. This is my lawn. That'd be wicked. Just like, can I show you photos of my lawn? Oh, don't worry about that. That's my fucking dick. I had to send it to the doctor.
Oh, it's me smashing my missus. Sorry. I've had that before. Yeah. I'll tell you off camera.
The best. All right.
I think in the South Australia it'd be more beneficial for us, obviously, because we live here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could do a podcast out of there, like 5AA and all that sort of people.
Well, there are radio sponsors, which are Radio Adelaide, 5AA, Nova 919. You could just have a full fucking thing where you just sit in a chair and people sit down and ask you questions about their lawn and we record the whole thing and just have clips for the rest of the year. I would say
we would see some shit.
1,000.
We would definitely see some shit.
Yeah.
And can almost guarantee a lot of the issues would be related to shade and compaction.
Yeah. Or did you? I don't know. Must have been on Geeks because it got reported. There's a dude had a crack like this wide in his backyard, and it was just like something. I think the guy wrote "sucked in dickhead" or something. Like it was just like, what are you doing?
Well, the Geeks page is a lot better monitored at the moment than New South Wales.
New South Wales
That's
is the
ridiculous.
Wild West. Man.
That is the amount of job applications.
Yeah, I reported one today. It's the Wild
and just
West.
People like hanging shit on people, and I don't know. I'm not sure what your views are, but I don't think people should be able to post anonymously. I think that's
if you're a moderator, you can see who it is.
I'm aware of that, but like, I don't know.
Yeah,
but I understand it's also a barrier of entry if you're
too scared.
If you're too scared and you don't want to get roasted, but there are better pages out there. Yeah, I don't know. I just think. Like, yeah, I understand it, but it doesn't mean I have to agree with it.
The way it's done, there'd be a reason. I mean, a lot of the times those pages get set up and then they were just for fun, and then it just explodes, and then the people that built it have changes in their life circumstances, and then they can't monitor it, and you don't want to give it away, so you kind of half.
No,
have it.
I get it.
Cool. So oversowing the rye.
Yeah.
Are we going to be back live in the Friday that follows? Do you have how much
Should
time
be.
does it take for your penis enlargement to recover?
God, if it was any bigger, the world would be in trouble. Let's have a look. Let's check my calendar.
Right.
Left.
The April the 11th.
Yeah, no, I'm here. I got no issues.
He's here. He's queer, and it splashes in the pot in the pond.
Hopefully, Friday the 11th, I can come into the podcast and the Crows are 5 and zip. The gather round starts on Thursday night, Adelaide versus Geelong.
Friday the 11th. Oh, it starts at lunchtime. Oh no, that's a lunch. Hey, I'm going to lunch. AFL gather round business luncheon
Oh,
with Adelaide venue management. What's that? Official AFL gather round business lunch. Clint Adams. Entertainment Centre in Cooper Stadium are delighted to invite you to a table to... Oh, there you go. So I won't be here.
on the Thursday, or is that Friday?
That's the Friday. At 12:30, I'll be at this lunch.
No.
Maybe we'll just do an earlier podcast.
Yeah.
It's 12:30 till 3:30 at the convention centre. Think it'll be good.
I've got no idea what it would
I'll
be
make
about.
it amazing.
Yeah.
I'll do the talk.
What would it be about? Just how gather round is
No,
so
they'll
good?
just have a bunch of business people in there, and they'll have a guest speaker, and whoever Gil McLaughlin is these days will get up there and be like, fucking blah blah blah, and then Malinascus will come in and be like blah 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 blah, and then they'll be like, yeah, this is fucking Tomo and Gazza used to play for blah 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 blah, and they'll be like, remember the grand final when fucking blah 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 blah, and then everyone will go home. How all those lunches go?
Yeah.
Usually they try to have them all in the same spot so that whoever Gil McLaughlin is now and Malinascus can just go from room to room. So they'll go from like the Intercontinental to the casino, and they'll just go do their like. This has been the work of the Labor government and the AFL. We really appreciate the AFL for supporting the best AFL. Blah 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 blah. Vote one. Blah blah blah. Keep buying AFL tickets. Have a nice day.
So, Convention Centre, Intercontinental.
Well, the convention centre is a bit far away, so we might get grade 2 speakers.
Okay. And then.
Because what they'll do is they'll do those lunches.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there's a game on the Friday.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep. So they'll do the lunches, and then they'll go get fucked up, then go into the game.
Game. And then they'll go to the game. They'll go back to the casino. Then they'll go across the road to a fine establishment.
Flea and Brothers Entertainment.
Fine establishment.
Yep. Jonesy's got a chair with his name on there now. Yeah.
It was Clint's, but they renamed it. So
Yeah, I don't go to those places anymore.
neither do I.
Okay.
The data, the battle.
So that's it for the podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Obviously, we would like to do this live. It's much more enjoyable. Hopefully, what we've been talking about has been somewhat interesting. Don't forget, if you're having any trouble with your lawns, you can send us messages and we will help you out. I put premature out this morning on my back lawn. So I think we're getting close. I was just looking at the weather in Australia. Interestingly, we are still seeing a lot of warmth.
Yes.
Look at that. 31 in Perth, 27 in Adelaide, 25, 23, 31. So it's still there. Obviously, Victoria is... Where's the Victoria for the next period? How's that not working for me? I thought this would just tell me.
Yeah, so did I.
What is the middle bit? There's the middle bit.
There we go.
Yeah, so we're starting to get into premature weather. So I think if you live in Victoria...
Well, if you've been listening along, you would know that you'd be near your second application by now. But that's okay.
I don't listen to the podcast, so
I know.
I don't know.
How come you got no ads?
What?
You got no ads. Usually, if you scroll up where the mouse piece is, there's usually a big fat ad there.
It'll be one of these here, one of these ad blockers. One of my pixels, my widgets.
Is it a paid one?
I don't know. Don't think so. I got to go get ready. I'm going to watch Human Nature in concert tonight.
Beautiful.
So that's exciting. I don't know what they sing. Stop right now. No,
Thank you very much.
what's that
I'm
then?
Ron Burgundy.
Human touch, human nature. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to episode 61. Please, if you've got any questions, throw them in the comments. I'll be around Friday while while Jonesy's getting his fucking hair sorted, so I can respond. Otherwise, we'll see you on the 11th, maybe in the morning before my lunch. Can you do that? Is that convenient for you, Dylan? Lawnhub live before lunch. Sweet.
Done. See you next time.
Use.
Who you calling use?
Isn't use a female sheep's?
You. I think is plural of you. You? Like MIU, or is it use?